All right, today we're diving into one of the most hyped up space missions in decades, NASA's Artemis 2. This is the mission that's finally going to take humans back to the moon. Let's get right into it.
Just think about that for a second. Over 50 years. That's how long it's been since a human being last set foot on the moon. For a whole lot of us, that iconic boot print is something you see in history books, not a sign of what we're doing right now.
So the big question is, are we ready to go back? That's really the whole point of NASA's Artemis program. This isn't just about revisiting old triumphs. It's about proving that we are absolutely ready for the future of deep space exploration.
And, you don't answer a question that big with just one mission. NASA's got a very careful three-phase plan. It's all designed to build up our skills and technology, and most importantly, to keep the astronauts safe every single step of the way.
The way they're doing this just makes so much sense. Artemis 1, that was the big test flight with no one on board. It proved the rocket and the capsule actually worked. Now we're at Artemis 2, where they add the crew to test all the life support systems. And only after that works will we see Artemis 3 attempt that historic landing.
And that first step, it was just a massive success. Back in late 2022, Artemis 1 sent that uncrewed Orion capsule all the way around the moon, and was riding on the most powerful rocket ever built, the Space Launch System, or SLS. It was the perfect green light for the tech.
So the hardware checked out. The rocket works. Now it's time for the next big phase, adding the most important part of the entire mission, the people.
4 astronauts. These 4 are going to be the first humans in over half a century to fly out past low Earth orbit and head towards the moon.
And here they are, the crew for Artemis 2. NASA's Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, and Christina Koch, and they're joined by Jeremy Hansen from the Canadian Space Agency. I mean, this mission isn't just a return to deep space. It's also a pretty amazing symbol of international teamwork.
Let's be really clear here. Artemis 2 is basically a full dress rehearsal in deep space. Its main job is to test all the systems that keep people alive. Life support, communications, flight controls. Everything has to work perfectly before you even think about landing.
And this is a key point. This is a lunar flyby. They are not landing. The plan is for the crew to fly around the far side of the moon. They'll actually go farther from Earth than any human has ever been, but they won't be touching down. Think of it like the final, most important test drive before you take the car on the big trip.
And while the launch itself is still a little ways off, the action on the ground is already starting to ramp up. You could say that, in a way, the final countdown has already begun.
And it all begins with this absolute beast of a machine. It's called the Crawler Transporter 2. And this isn't just some big truck. It's basically a moving building. A mobile launch platform with one single job, to carry that gigantic SLS rocket from its hangar to the launch pad. Getting the rocket to the pad is a huge deal all by itself. They stack the entire rocket on top of the crawler for its incredibly slow journey to the famous Launch Pad 39B. Yep, the same one they use for the Apollo missions. Once it finally gets there, all the final checks and tests can start. And just get a load of these numbers. The whole trip is only about 4 miles, or 6.4 kilometers, but it takes up to 12 hours to get there. That's a top speed of barely 1 mile per hour. It's all about total, absolute, unshakable precision when you're moving a machine like this.
So go ahead and mark your calendars. NASA is targeting January 17th, 2026 for that slow crawl to the launch pad. That's what sets everything up for the launch window, which is scheduled to open up on February 6th. These are the next huge steps on our way back to the moon.
So with everything coming together for Artemis 2, the big question becomes, what's next? What's the giant leap that this mission is supposed to set up?
To put it as simply as possible, if Artemis 2 doesn't succeed, there is no Artemis 3. It's that critical. Every single bit of data they get from this flyby, every system they test, is an absolute must-have before they can take that next step.
And the difference in what they're trying to do is pretty huge. Artemis 2 is all about proving you can keep a crew alive and safe on the journey. Artemis 3, well, that's about using that proven technology to finally put human boots back on the moon, something they're hoping to do in 2027.
And all of this just leaves us with that one final, amazing question. After more than 50 years, we are right on the edge of going back. So what's out there for us? What new science, what new discoveries, what new inspiration is waiting for us on the lunar surface? The journey for this next generation is really just getting started.